touch it once rule. So if you pick something up and say, is this something that brings me joy? Is this something that I use every day? You touch it once and make that decision. It stays,
Or
it goes, or it goes into a maybe box. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
The next one is declutter by category and not by room. That means, what does that mean?
Declutter by category means that if you're looking at books, right, you're going to get rid of a lot of books, but you're just going through your house and getting those books and not necessarily doing it by one room. I personally would prefer to do it by room because I know what's in a room and I know what should be in a room. And if it's something I use all the time, then either it stays in that room or it has someplace that it needs to be. So, it's all in how you feel about that declutter by category. Again, these are all rules, or not rules, but suggestions on guidelines on how you will get to a point where you are able to declutter and able to get your house in a state that you want it to be in.
Another thing is a 10-minute tidy up. And I think that can be used with the declutter by category and not by room as well. But you should be able to, or you want to be able to go through your home and tidy up in 10 minutes. Now, if you have clutter everywhere and you have to dust all these little things and move all these things, and that to me is too much clutter, and you need to set a timer, go through the house and do a tidy up and see how far you go. And as far as the decluttering, that's the other thing. Set a timer, go through your house in 10 minutes. And if you go buy something and say, you know what, I don't need that, put it in your basket, your maybe basket or your donate basket, and let it go.
Right. And to use along with that, you have a yes or no rule, right? Mm-hmm. So there's only things with a yes should be put away or should have a place for them in your home. If it's no, then you get rid of it. Put it in the box to go, just get rid of it that day. If it's a maybe, then that goes to the next part, which is a maybe box.
Do you want to do the maybe box?
Sure. The maybe box is a box that you are going to put in those things that are you're not sure about, and a lot of times sentimental things might, fall into that box, into the maybe box. But you're going to put them in the maybe box because you want to push that box off to the side and put a date on the side of the box. You want to write a date on the side of the box when you put it over to the side, and then in 30 days, when you look at that box, if you haven't touched that box in 30 days. Then the whole box should just go out. It should be taken to Goodwill or it should go into the dump, whatever you need to do. But the maybe box is something that allows you to think about those pieces that you're not quite ready to part with today. But if you haven't touched them in the next 30 days, are they really something you should be keeping? And I think that's where that maybe box is really, really important.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is to limit your sentimental items. Choose a special place for them where you can see them, or if you need to touch them, put those in a special place. We have these shelves back here, and I will tell you that I still have some decluttering to do, but these were some things that we brought from our larger home here because I couldn't quite let go of those yet. Some of them I use. They are sentimental to me. A desk that my uncle made when I was 9 years old. He actually made it for me. And my grandbaby and my daughter had played with it. And a high chair I had when I was a little girl, and my grandmother's sewing machine. And I'm going, those are so special, but what am I going to do with that desk here? what am I going to do with my grandmother's sewing machine? There is just a limited space. And although they're very sentimental to me, I really need to let some of these things go. There's not a special place. They have no utilitarian value. So my plan is to ask my cousins. I've already talked with my sister, and I know what she wants. So I'm going to ask my cousins if they want these things, and if they do, I'm going to give them whatever that they want. And if they don't want them, then I believe I'll sell them, because they are vintage and possibly antique at some point. And so I'd really like for them to get a nice home.
And I think one of the things that we've talked about is the fact that with sentimental items, you don't actually have to touch those sentimental items for them to bring you that special feeling, right? You just need to be able to see them. So I have a camera. I can take pictures of these items, and Beth can go back and look at them as she needs to. We have phones.
And it lets us archive, and we can keep those things, put them out there, and digitally call them up.
And one thing you can think about doing is getting a digital frame,
I love those.
so that your sentimental items can keep flipping through the like Aura is a great wonderful frame that we got for her mother, where we can actually upload pieces or pictures to that frame remotely. And we love that, because then if we have things that she wants to see, like these sentimental items, then you can load it to there and she can see them herself as well.
And I load them digitally from my phone to her frame, and it's there. I don't have to wait till I go to my mom's.
So another piece that we try to do, and it's very difficult, and you probably know that it's difficult if you're working on trying to downsize, if you're trying to understand how to keep things clear, but keeping flat surfaces clear. We have this problem with paper, and paper just clings to flat surfaces. It just appears almost magically on flat surfaces.
It's a paper monster.
But we know that we can fix that. We have a way of fixing that, but you just have to keep those flat surfaces clear.
One thing that I still have to go through is to get rid of duplicates. I think I have duplicates of almost everything. I did go through my pots and pans, and I got rid of a lot of things like that. I do have like a couple of sets of knives and about 4 or 5 sets of measuring spoons and measuring cups and things like that. So those are the kind of things that if you're not a baker and you're not cooking all the time, how many do you need?
Well, and it just doesn't apply to the kitchen. I am, as a tech guy, I have a dozen different cords that I have no idea what they even go to anymore, right? So I have a whole bag full of cords. I have
remotes.
Yes, remotes. Remotes are a big thing. She has a problem with so many remotes.
No, I don't. It's just this is where they come to die.
This is where they come to die. We have so many remotes from so many things in the past. Again, why would you keep a remote from something that has been gone? This is very much a duplicate. And then because I've been doing YouTube, trying to do YouTube for a couple of years now, I have a lot of stuff that I've bought over time for that. And much of it is duplicates. So I need to get rid of a lot of that and clear out some of the places and get rid of those duplicates.
And I will add that I have 4 coffee pots. I have a Keurig. I have a percolator.
Yes, you do.
I have a French press. I might have 2 French presses.
And I am looking right now as we do this, I'm looking into the kitchen and I see hanging measuring spoons of, I don't know, maybe 5 sets of measuring spoons. Do we really need 5 sets? I could see 2 maybe, but 5? Anyway, I digress. The next one is to keep everything in its place. If you have a thing, and that's one thing I will give Beth, is that in her kitchen, she is trying to put everything in its place and have a place for everything. And that should always go back to the same place. That is actually one of the things I get on her pretty badly about from time to time, is that she'll change where something is, and I go in to look for it in the morning, and it's like, where did it go? Why is it in a different place? All of a sudden, it's in a different place. She got a hair on the night before and said, "Oh, I think I'll change where the cutting boards are at. They're no longer going to be over here. They're going to be halfway across the kitchen." Right. So I try to gently suggest that the same place would be a great place to keep everything.
We like spice it up.
Yeah, spice it up. Sure. Mm-hmm.
One thing that we have also talked about was, and we've talked about this before, is to take one box or one drawer or one closet at a time. You don't. I could be ADHD and start in the bathroom and end up in the bathroom over here, or maybe in your office, and I'll have everything everywhere. Everything will be out, and it was like, I don't know. It's everywhere. And so not only did I not declutter, but I made a big mess.
That's true. We try to limit everything to one box, and I try to take everything out of one box
At a time.
and at a time, and get that box completely done, break the box down, get it out so that we can move on. But again, that's a work in progress. It's also a work in progress, at least from my perspective. Beth did a better job on this than I did when we downsized, which is to limit clothes to only those you actively wear. So one of the things that I do is I'll hang my clothes in the closet with the hanger backwards on the hook. So if you have the hanger like this, normally you would hang it on the front. I hang it on the back. And then when I take a shirt out of my main closet or out of a closet and I put it on, when I go to hang it back up, after Beth washes it, I'll hang it on the hook the right way. And that way I know I've worn it. And so I can actually see the clothes that I'm wearing and the ones I'm not wearing. And so after a certain amount of time, you may want to wait for 90 days to see if you're gaining or losing a lot of weight. If you're like us, we tend to be on a diet and we tend to lose a lot of weight. And some things we don't want to get rid of because we don't want to have to buy pants that fit again. Right. So there is
like an exception to that would be your seasonal clothes, but you can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The clothes in season, when you change things out or go to another closet, hang them backwards, and then the ones that you use, hang them front, and then you can just find out which ones you're really wearing then.
Right.
Having a space for dealing with paperwork, the little monster that we were talking about, you also want to have a routine of going through the paperwork and finding out, is this junk? Is this something I need to do? If I need to keep it, maybe we will scan it and then throw it out, or shred it, something like that. But then we throw it out when it's done because, oh my gosh, we used to have the most horrible problem with papers and things. Now we still have to go through some things, but there's a basket on the counter in the kitchen, between the kitchen and the living room now, and we have a basket, and if there's something that I think we need to kind of follow up on, we'll throw it in the basket, and then we look at it once a week.
So in addition to the space for dealing with paperwork, one of the things that you want to do is aim to get rid of at least one item per day. And if you remember, we said that one in, one out, or one in, two out, right? So if your aim is to get rid of at least one item per day, then you might want to do the one in, one out, and then get rid of one item and have less to concern yourself with the next, going forward. So that way you're reducing the number of things you have in your space and making yourself less crazy over things. The next thing I want to talk about is, and this is specific to me from one point, and Beth will get into the part from her point of view, is to only buy materials for a single project until it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was working on the house a lot, I would have multiple projects that we talked about we wanted to get done. Maybe we needed to put flooring in over here, and we needed to put new countertops in over here, and we needed to put a new counter over there. So we had different things we were doing. And so when I went to Home Depot or I went to Lowe's, I would buy multiple things for each one of those projects. And then I would bring them home and I'd get one project done. And then maybe I wouldn't be able to get to the next one for a week or a month or 2 months, right? Depending on what was going on in our lives. And so by the time I got ready to get to the next project, I may accidentally buy everything again, or I may have used it in something else. In any case, it becomes clutter that's just sitting around waiting for that project to come up. And what if it never does? What if it's a project that just got pushed off or it never got done?
Mm-hmm.
Now you've bought a bunch of things that you don't utilize, and that just cost you money for no particular reason. So that's from my home projects, DIY projects. That's the way I like to deal with them now, is that I only buy what I need for the single project that's in front of me, and I don't go out and buy anything else unless it's related to that project until that project is done.
Correct.
And then I think you have some other things that.
Yes, I have had a bad habit of going to Hobby Lobby or some craft store, Michael's, something like that, and buying really cute craft projects and purchasing those. And I'd paint it, and I would paint and buy canvas when they were on sale. I'd buy materials so I could make a top, and things for Christmas projects, and they're still out there in the storage room. And those are some of the things that I've got to declutter. I will say, I gave away 3 bins full of craft things that I said, okay, I'm just not going to do this. And so we've still got a maybe box out there, and that maybe box may be going.
So that kind of leads into the next point, is to be honest with yourself over things that you want to try and accomplish, over crafts and things that,
Mm-hmm.
If let's say you wanted to be a pottery, you want to throw pottery, right? And you go out and you buy a pottery wheel and you bring it home and it's in a box and you set it over to the side and say, well, I got to get some more stuff and I'm going to get started with that as soon as I get this other stuff. And then life gets in the way and that pottery wheel is still sitting in the corner in a box, right? So if that's been sitting there for a while, then you might want to be honest with yourself. Are you really going to get to that? And should you get rid of it and only buy it when you're ready to start on it that day or within 7 days? And if you think about that, if you say, I'm not going to buy it if I can't get started with it in the next 7 days, next week, I'm just not going to buy it, then a lot of things that come into your home, they will never come into your home. And it's better, rather than having things that you have to get rid of, that you have to sell, or you have to that you have to throw away, it's better for them to never come in. So when you're honest with yourself over the pieces that you want to use for something, then you'll find that it's a lot easier to keep from bringing those things in to begin with.
And this can be serious savings on your part, because I know that crafts and things like that are expensive. And so if you're getting something and it is costing you, but you don't get to it or you never get to it, then you've purchased something. Forgive yourself and go ahead and sell it or donate it. You don't have to keep it just because it was expensive. Take it as a lesson and go ahead and let it go.
And to be that at that point, you should have a 5-year rule that if something has been in your home that you haven't touched, or God forbid is in a storage room somewhere, right, that you're paying for, and you've had it for 5 years and you haven't seen it in 5 years and you haven't touched it, then that's something that you should absolutely either sell, give away, or take to the dump. It's just not worth. There's nothing that you need to keep if it hasn't been used. And this goes back to the 90-day rule, right? So the 90-day rule works across the things you already have in your home, but you may have stuff in a storage room, and out of sight, out of mind, right? But if you go in there and you say, well, there's all these things and I haven't seen them in 5 years, think about how much money you have just been paying for 5 years worth of storage space.
It's thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars.
Over a 5-year period.
Over a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's true. So, sometimes this is a hard one. It was for me, but acknowledge sentimental attachments here. Downsizing can be emotionally challenging, especially when you're parting with items that hold memories. Allow yourself to feel that emotion. Take your time to make that difficult decision. It can be a very depressing thing.
Overwhelming.
Very overwhelming. But like I'm going to do with my grandmother's sewing machine and the desk from my uncle, and he's passed now. He passed away this past year. And so I know that if they want to keep it, it's going to go to my family. So I know that someone who loved it as much as I did is going to get it. And I will tell you that if you've ever had a need or an occasion to buy an antique, something vintage, you probably really cherished it because you knew that it was special to someone. So feel those emotions. But if it is not utilitarian and it's not doing you any good, but causing you grief to have to move it around or figure out a place for it,
dust it, maintain it.
Take the time to say, do I really, really need to keep this? Take a picture of it, write things on it, to remind you of things, where it came from, and then let it go. Just let it go. I know that I have family that has had such a hard time letting things go, and it can be very difficult. So wish you a lot of luck on that one. But it'll happen.
And decluttering your life changes more than the way your home looks and feels. So for you, it may be different, but for me, it makes space for my soul or my mind to discover happiness that was never found in all that excess stuff. And we've gotten some of the things that we're talking to you about from a number of different sources. That was by Julia Umbinga. And there are some other YouTubers that we will put a link in at the bottom on this video to give credit to for some of these ideas. We want you to be able to talk to us about what your life is like and what you feel is in your mind. How are you feeling about this? Are you depressed about it? Are you have trouble getting started with something?
Are you stressed about it?
Are you stressed about it? Please leave us a comment and let us know where you're at with decluttering in your life. Do you feel like it's working? Do you feel like you're allowing yourself to do it? Or can you even get started with it? I know that some people find that it's hard to get started with it because they're overwhelmed by how much stuff they have.
So
I know a member of her family has that very same problem. How much stuff they have has taken over them. So their stuff now owns them. And so it begins to get to a point where they can't feel like, where do I even start with this?
Mm-hmm.
And to go back to take one box or one drawer at a time, just take one box and do it.
Just walk around.
Just walk around. Just do one box or one drawer. Make it completely clean, and then go sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And then feel how that feels.
Success. That is a success.
That's right.
And enjoy that.
Enjoy that. Feel how that feels, getting rid of that. And then you're going to be able to know where you can start. You can start by taking one thing at a time and going through these things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need some help, please give us a comment. We'd love to be able to give you some support.
We'd be happy to try to give you some feedback if we can.
Absolutely. And so
we just wanted to remind you once again that you are allowed to let go, even if it was a gift from a family member, a loved one, a best friend. If it was expensive and you say, oh my God, it was so expensive, I just can't. Well, yeah, you can.
You can sell it.
You can sell it and get some of your money back and let someone else pay it forward. Let them have it. And you get your money back and go on with your life.
But don't get your money back and go out and buy something else.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not the way it should work.
And you're also allowed to let something go if you might need it someday, because if you might need it someday, maybe you should go ahead and let it go. And then when you need that thing, go out and buy it, borrow it, whatever. And also, you're allowed to let something go, even if you think other people might keep this. They would keep this. Well, you're not other people. You're an individual. You're you, and you can let it go. Your home is not a storage unit for guilt.
And we would like to get feedback from you in a number of ways. The first way that you can give us feedback is by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. And then the second way that you can give us feedback is by commenting and telling us how this applies to you and if you're getting any help from us. And we were talking about less is the new retired. And part of being less means having less, but also having more by needing less. When you need less things, then you have more time for the things that matter, like enjoying your family. We went out to breakfast with our family this morning, had a great time, and didn't bother us a bit because we didn't feel like we had things to take care of on the things we own here. Right? So it was a lot easier for us to make time to do the things we want to do with our family and with other people. We just got back from a trip to Wilmington, North Carolina, where we had a jazz festival. And you might want to look at this video to see what we did in the jazz festival. It was really cool. So thank you for watching. I'm Dean.
I'm Beth.
And this is
Less is the New Retired.